daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures each and every day of the work week. Sometimes more. Sometimes more. Ugly Sweater Day on the Eric Zane Show podcast because it was Ugly Sweater Night last night at the Grand Rapids Gold basketball game. So I talked to the boss over there, the Grand Rapids Gold. His name is Phil. I've known Phil for a long, long time. Phil used to be the game ops. That's the title. At the Grand Rapids Griffins. He's the guy that's in my ear telling me what to do. With the headphones on and a little microphone in front of me. And he headed off to greener pastures after a period of time. Then I got the call. He said, hey, I'm coming back. I'm getting back in the game, but this time, basketball. I'll be sitting right next to you for every game. I go, oh, my God. I already was letting the good times roll with the basketball team. I just love doing those games. I love all this shit. It's great. To interact with people. It's like my vacation. When you're here every day talking to animals, including my brother-in-law, it's like an absolute adventure to get out of the house and interact with people. I've said this before. That's probably one of the things I missed most about radio is the interacting with people. Now, I can say with 100% confidence that anyone that I've ever interacted with at a radio station does not reciprocate that feeling. You know? There isn't a one. So I have to kind of pick my spots. I don't have any burned bridges, really, in the sports announcing world. Yet. I've tried, believe me. But I haven't been successful at that. So Phil says to me, we got Ugly Sweater Day coming up at the Grand Rapids Gold basketball game. Do you have an ugly sweater? I said, no. He goes, doesn't matter. I'm getting you one. I go, well, that's fantastic. So I show up there, and here it is. It's typical ugly sweater fare with a cow on it. There's a cow with a Santa hat on the fucking thing. And at the bottom of it, it's actually a feed bucket. You could put like a beer into here. You could actually put your drink into the damn thing. So you know that this thing's been sold countless times and worn to ugly sweater parties at universities across the United States by dudes and fraternities who have pockets full of roofies to try to put into chicks' drinks. So I'm sitting next to Phil, got my ugly sweater on. The referees come out. The referee who's in charge, there's three. There's a crew chief. He's the boss. His name's Andy. And then it's a crew chief, and then referee, and then umpire. That's the 1, 2, and 3. And Andy is a fucking ball breaker. This guy, he runs a tight ship. Now, Andy is also, he refs NBA games too. So he's kind of like the senior. But you wouldn't know it by looking at him because he looks like he's about 30 years old. But this guy makes it very clear that he is the fucking boss. And I know not to fuck with this guy because years ago, there was a moment when I learned a very, very valuable lesson. On the PA, go ahead and have fun with the crowd. Maybe the other guys on the scorer's table. But do not fuck with anybody who's actually involved in the game. There was one moment in particular years ago when this guy, Andy, was, again, crew chiefing. And a lot of times the refs will make a call, and sometimes they kind of like have to have a little meeting on the court where the three of them gather around and discuss what they saw and then make a ruling. And I think I remember, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I think I was referencing them getting together and discussing it. And it was full of snark and the usual smart-ass fare that you've grown to know and love from your old pal Eric Zane. And he's probably like 15 feet away from me, and it catches his ear, Andy's ear. And he turns and looks at me and he goes, "Hey, don't do that. Don't do that." And I felt like I was about 5 years old. And sorry about that. And he looked annoyed as shit. And I was like, oh, man, fucking A. So learned long ago, do not do that. So case in point, during the game last night, there was something strange that happened, doesn't matter what. And so he's got players yelling at him, and he's got one of the other officials that are in his face to discuss it. He actually goes, "One at a time! One at a time!" And I'm like, yes, give it to him. Give it to him. And there were moments where he walked up to the scorer's table and needed clarification on whatever, time on the clock, just boring shit. We don't technical stuff. And he comes over, and I could just feel it. I'm like, don't say a word. Use your ears when communicating with this guy. Ears and nod. Fucking take charge. Fantastic. There was one moment with probably a minute left in the game where I think I redeemed myself with this guy. If he had any vibe that I was a smart ass and I needed to be put into my place from years ago, like I told you, I might have turned it around. Because with a minute to go, the people at the scorer's table revealed that there was a change to the score that needed to be made. The team that were playing, the Sioux Falls Skyforce, they actually had we had to add 2 points to their score. Now, it was a 1-point game at the time. The Gold were down 1 point. The Grand Rapids Gold trailing by 1 point. And then someone on the scorer's table confirms that Sioux Falls was not credited with a basket, so we have to add 2 points to their score. Now, the guy who's in charge of us at the scorer's table, he's sitting right next to me. And his name's Jay. And he motions for this ref, Andy, to come over. And Andy comes over. He looks like a fucking drill sergeant. And he goes, "Andy, at 8 minutes and no," he goes, first he says Sioux Falls gets 2 more points. He goes, "Scoring correction." And he goes, "Yeah." And he says, "Why? What happened?" And he goes, "Well, we reviewed. There was a question, so we went back and reviewed it. I missed it, and play-by-play missed it. Sioux Falls gets 2 points." He goes, "At what point in the game did this happen?" He goes, 8 minutes and 44 seconds left in this quarter. He goes, "That long ago? 8:44?" And so he then reiterates, this dude, Jay, what happened? And he's like, "Oh, fuck." And the reason why he's like, "Oh, fuck," is because he has to go explain it to the Gold. They're down by 1. And so, first of all, the Sioux Falls guy comes over. He didn't have to explain it to them. They're like, "Hey, you get 2 more points. Congratulations." Motherfucker's like, "Yeah, okay, cool." And then he starts walking over to the Gold, and the conversation happens, and you can sense it's frustration. And then he has to then walk away, even though he's getting an earful. You can understand why. And I said to him, I go, "Andy, you want me to announce this on the PA?" Because he's going to hear it from the fucking fans, too. I go, "You want me to announce this?" He goes, please announce it." So I put on my best all business voice, no snark. And I say, "Scoring correction. At 8:44 of the fourth quarter, the Grand... Hold on. I got to do this right. If I'm going to do this, I got to do it right. Scoring correction. That's a little too much. Scoring correction. At 8:44 of the fourth quarter, Sioux Falls scored a bucket that was not credited. Change Sioux Falls' score from 101 to 103. Thank you. And then that's it. You hear the groans? Ah, come on! Sioux Falls wins, but Andy was appreciative. Andy Nagy is the guy, the ref. Nice guy. Nice guy. Don't fuck with the refs. Don't say shit to the refs. They can throw you out of the arena if they want. Forget kick you off scorer's table. Throw you out of the arena, probably get you arrested. Do not fuck with the refs. There is a horrible trend that is happening that I keep seeing more and more. And, I don't know if it's because of, how we all know that the schools and libraries are indoctrinating kids to homosexuality and making them go homo. You ask any lunatic who drives a Silverado pickup with 15 flags and a Let's Go Brandon bumper sticker on it, he will tell you that schools and libraries are turning all children into homos. Now, I don't know if I believe any of that. In fact, I know I don't. But I will say that I am observing a trend at various sporting events by young children. Aram points out Eric drives a Silverado pickup. Yes, that's true. I do. And they often look at me like a past pickup truck guy, and he'll look at me like, yeah, fuck yeah, man. January 6th. That was it. That was the shit. Were you there, man? Were you there, motherfucker? Let's go beat up some black guys. Shit. And I'm like, no, I'm not one of you. I'm not. Because now this might be quite a leap here, but young boys are if I was a kid, I don't recall ever wanting to do something like this. I think the most ridiculous thing I would do if I was a teenager and I was put on a video camera. I might still do this now that I'm an adult. I would make my index finger and a middle finger like a V, and then stick my tongue through it like, and we all know that means, hey, man, I'm into eating box. And I'm on the Jumbotron. I'm going to show everybody that I like to chow box. Like a fucking idiot. But now everything's different. Because lately, and it's much younger. You'll be at the hockey game or the Grand Rapids Gold game, and at least once a game, there will be a kid who's like 11, maybe even like 4. Yeah, that's it. Either 11 years old or 4 years old, pantomiming or miming that they're sucking cock. Now, I have to give young people credit because the boldness of that joke is fucking great. When I was a kid, I would do the eating box joke all the time if I had the opportunity to be on the Jumbotron at a sporting event. But what I would not do is I would not say, hey, guys, watch me make it look like I'm sucking a big dick. But that's what they're doing. And even more so, they're doing the pepper grinder, which we've talked about that on this show. That's a maneuver, okay, in the bedroom that you got to get your old lady to do. So now 1- and 2-year-old children, when they get on the video board, are going, and they're doing the pepper grinder. And the thing about it is, the people that are running,
you suck a big black dick because I know you want to.
the people that are running the camera, who their job is at the sporting events, you got to get crowd shots during stoppages in play, and everybody's doing YMCA and dancing to Cotton Eye Joe and Sweet Caroline, bum, bum, bum. And then there's a 6-month-old child going, yeah, pepper grinder. The camera people have not been made aware. Well, some have, and I'm figuring that out, but not all of them. The camera people need to have a meeting with the camera people and the guy who hits the cameras and puts them on the big board. His name is Eric Naki. And his crew, they need to have a meeting and say, all right, guys, there's a new trend that children that are just days old are acting like they're sucking cock. Okay? Now, this is really, the kids have upped their game, where they've gone from before. You guys are all well aware of eating box, kids eating box on camera. Well, now the boys have moved from eating box to sucking giant dicks. So every single game, there's a bunch of kids, and they'll be like, hi, oh, yay. And there's always one kid in the group, and he's working his head. He actually looks like he's good at it. And it's always a dude. I have not seen one. Girls are so much better than guys. Guys are they're clowns. They're clowns and dicks. All right? Now, truth be told, I don't want to see a 4-year-old child acting like he's sucking dick. All right? But I can only imagine how hard I would laugh if I was a kid and I did that and it got on the fucking camera on the big board. Holy shit. It happened again last night, man. And now this is proof that I'm finally becoming less of a child. I'm still a child, but less of a child and more of an old man, because part of me was so annoyed with that little fucker for wrecking our family show that there weren't a ton of people there, so you could very easily just kind of scan the crowd. Where was that guy? Get him the fuck out of here throw him out. Andy, referee Andy, hey, you're worried about the score? Why don't you throw that kid out for doing the sucking dick reference on the video board? It's total bullshit. We cannot have that. So, but I think the camera people are starting to get the idea, because in one particular, like for the first time, normally the kids go, and then they like zoom in, and they're like, oh, look at it. It's a new dance. But yesterday, the camera person immediately moved the camera right off of the kid. They got out of it quickly. It was, Ryan says they need dick-sucking security people that beat the children up. So, I don't know. Holy crap. So, Gold end up losing in that damn game. We haven't won a lot this year. Kind of a bummer because they play so hard. Chris says they should have ushers squirt them in the face with mayo when they do that. No, they should actually make them suck dick. You know, have like, this is finally an opportunity. Finally an opportunity for former show supporter and known stalker Boring Dean. He claims to be an engineer. He's not. He took an engineering class. He got run out of the engineering business, and now he bales hay and fillets horses. They could put him to work in the bowels of the stadium to punish the children. And they take you into a dimly lit closet where Dean is there. And then, hey, you wanted to do that? Here, this guy's here for you, and he loves it. This just took a horribly awesome turn. Finally, Boring Dean has a second job in addition to baling hay and filleting horses and generally being a creep. All right. This show happens each and every day in the Baldwin Ace Hardware Fear Bunker Studio. Baldwin Ace Hardware, a beacon of DIY awesomeness in the Northland. Please listen to the sponsor messages. Please support the sponsors. Yada, yada, yada. Do a free podcast every day right here for a couple hours. Just shoot the shit with you. Get done with this show. I do the Patreon bonus podcast. That is ad-free and supported 100% by audiences, dollars, and cents. If you spend a lot of time listening, and when you get done with the free podcast, you're like, okay, well, now what? I've got 6 more hours in the day. What the fuck do I do? I post an additional 11 shows on the Patreon, patreon.com/Eric Zane per week. So for just $5 or $10 a month, you get all of that. $5 a month is the audio, $10 a month, the audio, the video, and the live streams. I got another new to the podcast email. And I think a lot of this has to do with residual people filtering in post-Saint Gaslight. Being that I was really the only person that could comment on it, well, kind of, till I got that letter. I think I need to read that letter that I got, my cease and desist letter, in its entirety. There's enough distance between now and it that I'm less concerned. I'm actually going to get that over my shoulder right now. It's taped to the wall. Miller Johnson Attorneys. Wish I had my glasses here. Shit. Sent via email, certified mail, and U.S. mail, October 24, 2022. Regarding defamation against Joe Gassman. Dear Mr. Zaitunian, this law firm represents Mr. Joe Gassman. We've been made aware of your publishing of libelous statement. I want to proofread before you send these out. Regarding Joe on social media platforms, including but not limited to Facebook. The statements you have published are false. Well, that's your opinion. And cast an aspersion upon the reputation and character of Joe. Boy, side note, damn good thing he hasn't done anything to cast aspersion upon his own reputation. That would be terrible. Your statements include false imputations, which I have never heard that word, regarding Joe's romantic relationship and his behavior corresponding to same. which are libelous per se, pursuant to the requirements of Section 2911 of Michigan's Revised Judicature Act, MCL, symbol I don't know, 600.2911, the defamation statute. We hereby demand that you immediately retract all defamatory statements, remove the defamatory statements from all public message boards, including social media platforms, and cease and desist from any other forms of defamation against Joe. And as you all know, I've done that. It's a good thing, too. We don't want anybody defamed. There is no doubt that your intent in posting defamatory statements on public message boards or social media platforms is to tarnish and harass Joe and tortiously interfere with his employment and reputation. Further tortious acts by you, is it tortious or tortious, will only exacerbate Joe's current damages against you. Pursuant to the defamation statute, we hereby demand an immediate retraction that meets the following requirements. The retraction must be provided to each and every person you or your agents have either contacted with the information or directed the information to as contained in the statements you have posted on social media platforms and or public message boards. And number two, the retraction must be confirmed in writing. I did more than that. Not only did I do it in writing, I talked about how much of a liar I am on this show. What a horrible thing I did. We request that you provide us with the opportunity to review the content of your proposed retraction along with a list of the persons and entities to whom it will be published. I did that. To make certain it properly rectifies the damage you have already caused. Joe also expects a written apology from you, which includes a warranty that no further defamatory statements concerning him will be published by you or your agents. I don't have any agents. Hang on, I got to hang this back up. So, yeah, you know, that was all weird. Nothing more was said, of course, on this show. Kept it above board. Ryan, where's that disclaimer? Just this show, as you know, is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places, and incidents are either are products of the Eric Zane Show imagination or are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual events or locales or persons living or dead is entirely coincidental. By the way, the word on the street is that Joe is moving now. That there is now. I'm not 100% sure where Joe lives, but I had heard he lives right by me here in Hudsonville. So I'm actually going to drive over to where I know, to the address that I was told is where he lives, to see if that trailer's there. Meanwhile, this is an email, a new to the podcast email. And I like reading these because, and the reason why I brought this all up is because I think this person named Dave found the show because of a lot of the Joe drama. And that's happened. There hasn't been a ton, but there's been a few people that are like, oh, fuck, I had no idea you did a show, because when I would talk about that, people would pay attention and hear what I had to say. And because they, you know, that for some people, you know, when there's something as interesting as what was going on behind the scenes with all of that drama, people had kind of like an appetite to hear any type of discussion about it. And I was absolutely following that. So I talked about it when I could. And then got a fucking cease and desist letter for jokes. Dave wrote, I've been a loyal listener of Freeburn Hot Wings here in Grand Rapids since August of 2005. Always thought you were an irreplaceable part of the team, and when you were let go, I knew the show would never be the same. However, I continue listening, and I still do to this day. He says, although the most recent batch of drama with Joe Gaslight has left me feeling uneasy, as if maybe the show's best years are behind them. Now, I don't want to jump on board and say, yeah, they suck dick. I have. I mean, I don't like the show the way it sounds. But that is simply my opinion. And it is not about telling you what to listen to or anything like that. I know that when I listen to it, if I had nothing to do with that show or did not have a massive chip on my shoulder or an axe to grind, I wouldn't listen to it. I wouldn't follow it in any way. But a lot of people still do, and I'm not going out of my way now. I have, but I'm not right now trying to cast shade on what they're doing. I will say this. That show will continue to survive and will continue to be very highly rated for a lot of boring reasons that don't matter. And, being that it's immensely popular in at least a few of the towns that they're in, it'll appeal to people for as long as it's on being broadcast. That is not going to change. I can promise you that. It's called Heritage. Anyway, I digress. David writes, honestly, my Free Beer and Hot Wings dream would consist of Free Beer, Hot Wings, you, Joe, and Kelly Cheese. But I know that will never happen, nor should it, at least as far as Joe goes, according to Dave. When you were on BBL, I have to be honest and admit that I didn't listen, staying devoted to Free Beer and Hot Wings. But recently, a friend of mine told me about your podcast. He said it was hilarious and suggested I check it out, especially after the latest Joe Gaslight incident. Well, thank you. I appreciate whoever said that. I took his advice. I'm so glad that I did because it was right. You having to censor yourself on Free Beer and Hot Wings was already incredibly funny. All right? But you no longer having to censor yourself on your own podcast is an absolute riot. I now listen every day, usually after work, on the Apple Podcast app. Oh, that is music to my ears. Okay, now, let me just say, I am an anxiety-filled psychopath. And every day that I'm not doing this show, when I'm not just speaking like I am right now about whatever topic, I am, with no expression of myself, I'm in my own head. And all of those thoughts for the remaining 22 hours of the day are, you're going to fail. This is not going to work. You're going to fall on your face. That is true. That happens all the time. I spent most of the day yesterday under an anxiety attack because of that. And though it's been almost 4 fucking years, I still do not believe that this is going to work. Honest to God. Which is ridiculous. So when I have an email like this, you have no idea how much relief it gives me. Knowing that someone who I don't know has heard it in my little neck of the woods, which is very, very small, and has said, hey, this is great. Shut the fuck up. Quit listening to your brain. It is so appreciated. Thank you. He then writes, I consider you to be a master storyteller. Oh, my God, this is so great for my fragile ego. I find myself consistently laughing out loud every time I listen. I'm so glad fate has brought you to this point in your career because we, your listeners, are reaping the rewards of your talent. Oh, my God, this guy. He says, I apologize if it sounds like I'm blowing smoke up your ass, but I've always found you to be a stand-up family man who tells it most of the time, who tells it like it is and doesn't take himself too seriously, much like I try to be. I don't always agree with everything you say, but I'm never bored and always entertained. By the way, I have 15 flags on my 1999 Silverado pickup. He didn't say that. I threw that in there. He says, and I wanted to read this not only because he has nice things to say about me, but it's easier to respond this way to your suggestions because he does have suggestions about the show. This is not to tell Picasso how to paint, but one of my favorite bits you used to do in Free Beer and Hot Wings was when you'd play drops over the commercials. I know it used to get you into a lot of trouble. I still remember the time you played the theme to Fat Albert just as you were getting ready to interview Al Roker. Hey, hey, hey. literally 2 seconds of that theme. And then the dead air as Freebeer tried to figure out if Al had heard it or not. No doubt shooting daggers into your smug face. You have described that perfectly. He was so upset with me. And I was like, oh, well, that makes this 1 billion times better. That 2 seconds of Fat Albert theme before fucking Al Roker was brought in, who at the time I think was still a fat fuck, is what made that memorable. No one gave a shit because then we had to do the interview for like 10 minutes and Greg wondered, oh no. And then we hang up and he proceeds to yell at me. And he was so pissed. It's like, you are so stupid. Now, this is where I actually will cast shade. You are such a dumb fuck. This is why you couldn't drive content to save your fucking life. I just threw you the biggest fucking inside pitch that hit you in the ear and made you react in such a glorious way. And you're too stupid to realize how fantastic that is. And you sit there and get mad at me because you are a fucking dumb fuck. That 2 seconds made the world's dumbest interview that no one gives a shit about to be the fucking great moment full of conflict and hilarity. And then I take the punishment. Hear you bitch at me and yell at me. Everybody laughs. It's fucking gold. You're an idiot. That's why you suck. Has nothing to do with anything else, but this is an official shade casting. That's why you will always be shitty, because you have no ability to recognize what actually is funny. And that's funny, idiot. I'm mad at you. Jesus. He writes classic stuff. Personally, I'd love to hear more drops in your show, says Dave. Like when you make your Hispanic advertiser curse at you in Spanish. But you do you, brother. I also enjoy your tours up and down the radio dial. By the way, you should find a way to bring Robot on with you from Free Beer and Hot Wings. That's funny you say that, because I'm actually thinking about trying to, I have an idea of something I could do, but I'm still kind of like mulling it over. Everything takes forever with me. His brief tenure as your fifth member of the show was memorable, but I'm sure he'd be happy to join you and or Ben on your podcast. All right, so this is what I wanted to talk about at length about drops. Trust me, I've tried. But and occasionally you'll hear one, like you heard.
Don't suck a big black dick because I know you want to.
You heard that, and occasionally.
I'm a 50-year-old man doing what a 50-year-old man should.
But there's the one thing that makes those fun is the come out of left field feel to them. And the reaction or lack thereof when you have someone with you hitting the drops, a.k.a. Ben. Me being on this show and playing drops over me it just doesn't fucking work. And here's the thing. I rely so much on, in order to drive the content and keep the conversation moving, I have to keep speaking. Okay? Anything. That's why I too often get frustrated at comments, because when the chat is, sometimes I want to interact with people on the chat, but it's very, very difficult at times to do that because there's a lot going on the chat that I can't really pull anything from it to add to the conversation, because there's side conversations going on, and I have given up trying to police that. It's just there. And occasionally I see something and I'll run with it, but I can't stop talking. If I stop talking, it makes me uncomfortable. And if it makes me uncomfortable, I'm losing confidence. I can't continue. I have to keep my thoughts moving, communicating with my mouth so that I can keep doing what I'm doing. Anything that that distracts me from that, like looking at a comment, like trying to find a drop, it's lost. It's not funny anymore. It has to flow. So that's the kind of the chemistry behind all of it. I hope that makes sense. But, you don't want to, oh, man, I have a drop in my brain. I better go and look for it. Oh, all right. Here, 15 seconds after this story.
Just want to take a quick moment to say that I'm gay.
No, it doesn't work. It's about flow. And does it feel forced or, shit like that? You can't, gets a little square peg, round hole vibe to it from time to time. So that's, now occasionally I think about it ahead of time and I can have it ready, but it, just not that great. David finishes up this email and he says, anyway, sorry for the lengthy email. No, I appreciate it. Keep up the great work. Thanks for everything you do for the community as well as us listeners. Well, I appreciate that too. We appreciate you. And he says, I hope to listen and watch live sometime on Twitch and chat it up with you and the rest of the group. Happy holidays and thanks for the laughs. Signed, Dave, known as Mediocrity Made Easy. All one word on Twitch. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. All right. Update. Great food giveaway. Just before starting the show today, I updated the Facebook post. It's pinned to the top with a beautiful graphic made by our multi-talented Megan at Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. Look at that. It looks so sweet. Great food giveaway. Yesterday at this time, we had $4,574 raised and $995 till our goal of $5,570 to pay for 200 meals and 8 days to meet that goal. 24 hours later, $4,825 raised, nearly $300. In addition, that puts us at $745 till goal with 7 days to go. Oh, my God. Since that writing, I have gotten more money that has come in. Holy shit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will have a new total tomorrow at this time. I would consider this to be the home stretch. To think that a shithead in a room above his dormer who is unbelievably anxiety-ridden could just throw it out there a few times, talk about it for a couple of weeks, and boom, just like that. That money raised, all by you, every penny of it. We're getting closer. We're not there yet, but I think we will get it. I really do. To buy 200 hams, hundreds more cans of vegetables, 200 bags of potatoes, 200 jars of gravies, 200 packages of King's Hawaiian rolls, and 200 pumpkin pies. Head over to Meijer, load it up in a trailer, bring it over to Irvine's with 200 boxes. Box up each of these Christmas dinners to make a wall of boxes, like the Great Wall of Food, with Sarah Rookruck Roosh standing on the corner of Stafford and 44th Street, screaming at people. If you're underprivileged, go get a free meal for the Great Food Giveaway. This is grassroots at its finest. We will do that. Thanks to you. I'm in the process of making a big fucking sign out of chewy cardboard boxes. I'm going to make that sign and paint on it. Great food, free, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to put on it yet, with an arrow. Basically, that is how we're getting the word out now. I'm going to be talking to a couple of TV stations in the time between now and the Great Food Giveaway. to kind of draw up some support so people can be aware of it. That's the other challenge. I mean, raising the money is one thing, but getting the word out to people, to the folks who need it the most, that all you have to do is starting at 3 p.m. on Thursday, December 22nd at Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV, is drive up, no questions asked. You don't even have to get out of your car, and we'll put that Christmas meal into your vehicle. The volunteers from the Grand Rapids Pit Bull Alliance, which isn't just pit bulls, they help dogs, cats, you name it, fucking bunny rabbits, with vaccinations and rabies shots and parvo shots and all sorts of outreach for the animal world, people who own pets and can't afford to take care of them and feed them. They're going to be there putting pet food into the back of cars because that can get pretty expensive too. Terry and Beth, which just a terrific family, a leader of a family. Terry and Beth are going to be there with diapers to give away, and they work for a local pharmaceutical company. So I don't know if you know this, but there's a massive shortage of cough and cold medicine. And they're going to show up with like boxes of cold medicine to give to kids. Not to kids, well, to their parents. Because, that shit's expensive too. These are people that are in need right now. So for one day, they won't have to worry about a fucking thing. All right? And so the way we're doing this, if you're new and haven't heard, we are basically funneling money from your pocket over to either a Venmo account or a PayPal account. And I'm collecting all that cash, and then I take all the money and I go to Meijer and I say, let's pay for the food. Boom. Pay for the food. And I'm providing an accounting every day. I will show proof of every dollar that has come in with everyone who has given, like actual screenshots of every person who has donated. That will correspond with the number of funds collected, the amount of funds collected, along with the dollar amount spent at Meijer. If there's even 1 penny more, it will be donated to Kids Food Basket, which is a local organization that started, oh my God, how about them, feeding kids in the schools, providing them with a sack lunch made by an army of volunteers every single day and shipped out to schools. And that is just a top-notch organization. Here's the Venmo and the PayPal. So, and I've asked for $5 and $10. People are giving much more than that. Truth be told, I'll bet of all the people that listen to this show, which it's not Joe Rogan, but it is fucking enough that I can live. I mean, I make a great living here doing this show because of you. I average about 30 to 40,000 listeners every week to the audio podcast alone. And that's enough for me. If it gets to be more than that, great. I'm not doing anything different. If it grows, fantastic. If it doesn't, oh well. Of all of those, I'm just asking for $5 or $10 via Venmo, PayPal. It's on the Twitch live stream, and I'll put it in the show notes of this podcast, and then we're going to raise that money. I see that the nice person, the nice gentleman, David, who sent me that nice email that I read, is here. And this is his first interaction with the group. He writes, "Hey, Zane, honored you read my email, but even happier it could help with yesterday's anxiety attack. You got this, bro." I appreciate that, David. You're a kind gentleman. And, yeah. All right. So that is that. So much more to get to on this show and just not enough time to do it. I do want to say for the audience on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, I'm going to send you off into the world. I'm kicking you out of the nest in hopes that you will download the Twitch app to get the whole show uninterrupted if you are a person who likes to get it live as it happens. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Do like Dave there. Mediocrity made easy. Give yourself a username and have some fun on the chat. Before I'll let you go, though, I'm getting a request from Ryan, who really wants to go around the radio dial. And I'm feeling very festive because of my ugly sweater, so let's do that. Starting on the far left. Like 88.1. I'm not sure what's going on, but it doesn't sound bad. I kind of like that. That sounds like that music you'd hear at like a... This might be Saul's Blind Saul music, or Sam the Jew.
Around your shoulders as you walk the gypsy part of town. You make your way in no short order, past the gamblers, the thieves, and the clowns. Well, to
Oh, this is cool. I love this shit. Hold on, I got a Zillow thing. Not Zillow. What do you call that thing? Shazam. This is called I Love You Madly by Black Masala. Oh, this is fucking great. Oh my God, I love this. I want to hear that black preacher, Steve Harvey. No.
God has blessed this ministry. It would be even more blessed.
I forgot which one of you said that. I forget who said it, but it was it's like the same guy sings every Christian song. That's so true. It always sounds like the same person.
And more, Hans. Thank you. Have a great day. Folks, this is pretty much a wrap for J. Christian Adams in 2022. It's been a delight to be with you.
J. Christian Adams is taking the rest of the year off?
My apologies. We just ran out of time. I wish we had another hour. I wish I had another day to talk to y'all. You have a Merry Christmas. A very Merry Christmas.
Guys taking the rest of the year off.
And find the time to reflect on family, faith, and everything that makes
Oh,
Christmas
shut
so
up.
special.
Don't lecture to me,
I'm J.
fuckface.
Christian Adams. You can follow me at Election Law, CTR.
I don't know what the fuck's going on there. Oh, my God. Tough cookie history. Before I put another notch in my lipstick case, you better make sure you put me in my place. Hit me with your best shot. Come on. Hit me with your best shot. Hit me with your best shot. Fire away. Come on and hit me with your. I always love Pat Benatar. She's so fucking hot. She had like those tiny up sport boobs that looked like the Iron Sheik shoes. And the red hair and just that little overbite. Oh my God. Boom, 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 boom.
WWSN-FM Nuevo, a Cumulus media station. The Lakeshore's best variety of 80s, 90s, and today. We're Sunny 92.5.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm.
Right now, save big on a great night's sleep during Mattress Firm's Dream Simber
Come
sale.
on, you lost me.
Get the lowest prices of the season.
They were doing great.
Keaton. She was in a circle of girls, taking a shot with a line. She was laughing, they were daring her to get on the mic. One of them walked up and turned in her name. Next thing I knew, man, she was up on the stage singing Heads Carolina, Tails California. Maybe she'd fall for a boy from South Georgia. She's got
like
the
this guy.
bar in the palm of her hand, and she's a 90s country fan like I am. Hey, I got a
Oh,
she can flip a
let me
quarter.
tell you about it, Cole. Cole Swindell. She had me at Heads, Carolina. Hey, I got a Chevy. She can flip a quarter. I drive her anywhere from here to California. He rhymed quarter and California.
I was raised in
WKLQ, Holland, Grand Rapids, a Cumulus media station. This is the Q94.5.
This shitbox
It's
station.
different here.
This thing's a pile of shit.
Virginia don't sound like she used to.
This thing. No one listens to this fucking station.
Smoking my lungs.
Media station. The best mix of music plays here.
Hey guys, this is Bruno Mars.
I'm Dua Lipa.
We're One Republic.
This is Mix 95.7.
That is a pile of shit, too. Nice guy on the air, this Joe guy. I think I met him once, but he's a nice guy, but the station's a pile of shit.
When you give Tua a 0, it seems to me all year, whatever's deep underneath
Boring
it,
sports
you were
talk.
not saying Tua.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? We don't need no thoughts control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Roger Waters. Teacher, leave them kids alone. Gilmore. Hey! Hey! Teacher! Leave them kids alone! All in all, just another brick in the wall. All in all, just another brick in the wall. Here we go. Kids, to the pepper grinder. We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Okay.
Packaging. Who opens the bag top to bottom?
Right in the middle. Just let's tear it in half. Let's make sure this goes stale soon.
Well, I guess we just have to eat them all.
There's no way to close this.
The moment I did that, I was like, I really did just tear that right down the middle.
Right in half.
And it was so loud, too.
I mean, yeah.
Let's see how long it takes before we figure out what's going on.
Far from the rear hatch, like, and climbing through.
As
Like,
if we
it's
just
wrong.
tuned
You
in.
can do it, but
My
why?
impression of Kelly. Hey, let's eat some of these. They're open now.
What just happened? Oh, it's just top of the hour. It's top of the hour. That was like the local break, you know?
The Free Beer and Hot Wings Show featuring free
I'm
beer.
having a
The only
flashback.
thing he's going to eat on a Chinese menu is the fortune inside the cookie.
By the way,
Sweet and sour chicken.
critique, program director hour. If I was in charge, I would wipe all these intros out. Nothing. No intros, no back widths, nothing. Just music, and then you just start talking. They need to because so much time. They spend so much time on these back widths and these long intros that go on and on and on and get super burnt. It just eats up time. When you have that much time to fill from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., which really isn't that much time with the commercials, it's just they're just doing it to fill. And if you add up all the minutes, it's substantial. It's a lot of time.
Final hour on this Thursday. It's the Free Beer and Hot Wings show. We just did the best traffic report we've ever done in 20 years.
The food ineptitudes continue to mount.
Yeah,
within this room.
The hot producer team is filled with idiots.
We're struggling
Steve's
today.
over there eating paper, and Kelly just opened a bag.
We don't know what's going on still.
Like,
So we're the average right now. We're the average listener who just tuned in. We don't know what's happening.
But instead of like grabbing each end and pulling it open like a mouth, she went right down there and tore it right down the middle like she was tearing a sheet of paper in two. And so it's just.
You ever feel like you're diving into a conversation that you have no idea what the fuck is going on? That's what we all feel right now.
You almost made me pee myself. Free Beer said, let me show you how Kelly opens a package. And he just threw a box at the wall.
Pointed at Smash.
I did do this stupid. I don't know why I did it so stupid. I was influenced by Steve.
It's actually very difficult to get things out of that now.
I know. And he keeps tearing even further.
Yeah, you created a rift.
Oh, boy. I get the feeling every day till break-ins is pretty much Friday. Oh, this is going.
Yeah. That type of bag material is a bit like when you've got a mark on your windshield. And once that glass starts to splinter, it's all
starting
over.
to spider web.
And that's what that bag is doing
What are
now.
we doing
it's
here?
just sitting there on its own, and it's opening up.
Well, it's a good thing they're so delicious because I'm going to eat this whole bag of cubettes today.
Cubetti.
Cubettis.
Cubetti.
Cubetti.
Dolcetto cubetti.
Oh, man.
Well.
Okay.
We're off to a hot
It
start.
just
Free Beer,
stopped.
Hot
Did you
Wings,
feel that?
Steve,
Did you feel that? Just
and
stop.
Kelly. Rachel, I said the hot producer team is the stupid producer team, so that makes you assistant stupid, so don't be as offended.
Oh, they're punchy. That's what this is. They're punchy.
Are you assistant stupid or assistant to the stupid?
Yeah.
Assistant stupid to the stupid.
So you have to. So in your case, you don't have to be full stupid. You take the casings.
I normally
off
don't
the
spend
summer
this much
sausage
time on
and
this.
then eat
but
it
this is.
separately
I want to
for
hear
dessert.
where this is going.
What did you earlier when we were making a?
No, here's the thing. When you guys are doing that whole
Oh,
bit,
no.
talking about how
Not
there's
her.
paper on the outside of summer sausage, I was like,
Everything's
I was
fun.
Like, that's paper. Like I've always eaten that part too, as
There
well.
we go. Hey,
Like,
look at that.
Can you do that as like a Twitter poll or whatever? Do you eat the covering on some? Because I think Steve and Kelly and the people that didn't know or choose to do it. I think if you include didn't know and choose to do it as one.
Perhaps if I held it up like the paper
really
that
bad.
it is.
I thought that was a cupcake wrapper in your hand.
Hot Wings.
No,
That was
this
the
is when I
comparison.
peeled off the summer sauce.
I would have eaten that for
Well,
sure.
it's edible, so like, why not eat it? Like, it's fine. It's
I mean,
not
you
gonna
can
kill
eat a
you.
It's
hat,
sheet
but you
paper,
shouldn't.
technically. I mean, and a crayon.
It's
But you
collagen.
don't.
I never knew that you're supposed to take it off. It just was.
Me
it's
either.
just
I
been
can't
there.
believe that I have as many people on my
Oh
side,
no!
and I'm not arguing
No,
either.
these are all just people that are trying to justify the fact that they were too oblivious
Oh,
to know
God.
that it was.
Kyle, I see you.
I cut the
just
plastic.
remembered I was supposed to call Kyle. Sorry, buddy. I got too wrapped up into this. Kyle, I'll call you in just 1 minute. I got to catch up on some advertising, for God's sake. I'll come back to that. God, that was fucking awful. I'm sorry. Hey, if you like it, you like it. But that's not fucking funny. There's nothing going on there. They're just talking. They're just self-indulgent cracks to themselves. There's nothing funny. Jesus, it's awful. I already talked about the Patreon. Thank you. Thank you for being here, the open and live stream. I haven't even kicked everybody out yet. God, I'm fucking falling apart too. I'm going to send you all on your way on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.